Have you ever wondered what is the best method to learn a foreign language?
Learning a foreign language can feel like rocket science, something out of this world and out of reach for the vast majority of us.
Maybe a question will cross your mind. Can someone do it independently? This is maybe the most difficult thing for people to achieve. Maybe you have ever tried to learn a foreign language and then you gave up, thinking it is too difficult or you don't have the language talent. But did you know, the number of bilingual people who are able to use two languages in the world has reached 43%, or as many as 3.3 billion of the population. And have you ever seen on YouTube how many people share their experiences when they learn a foreign language? If you realize it, this is not the most difficult thing you can achieve, because it is not about difficulty level and even talent. It's about your perspective on a foreign language itself. So, what things can build your perspective? The most influential aspect is self-concept. Self-concept precedes and predicts the levels of performance in every area of someone's life, no exception in helping to learn a foreign language.
Self-concept in learning a foreign language is the reactor core, like a nuclear reactor of your personality. It's the energy source that determines your level of confidence and enthusiasm.
Definition a concept is not something that is tangible. Self-concept is not actually real. However, self-concept is the only real reality that we'll ever experience, and this is kind of the paradox. Self-concept has three parts. Each is connected with each of the others. All three elements together make up the total personality. These elements largely determine what a person thinks, feels, does, and everything that happens in learning a foreign language. The first one is motivation. Sticking to your long-term goals requires motivation. Motivation is made up of all your hopes, dreams, visions, and ideals. Motivation can guide and shape your behavior. Many people say that motivation is complicated. However, understanding more about the science of motivation can help you stay on a desire and a goal. Motivation comes to yourself because you do something and find it fun, interesting, and meaningful. You are passionate about that language. You are passionate about the literature, the movies, or being able to read in a language and use it with people. Or you do something because you wish to get a higher salary or a better job. Motivation has a big role to influence the learning method that you will do. In other words, motivation can unexpectedly influence the second aspect of self-concept. This aspect is commonly known as self-regulatory. Self-regulatory is defined as the process of method that controls the emotions, thoughts, and behaviors in learning. This is a cyclical process that has three sorts of waves. The first wave is planning for learning. The second wave is monitoring learning. And the third wave is self-reflection. In the planning for the learning wave, you should consider what is it, what is your goal, what do you need to be able to know, understand, or do, and how are you going to get there. In the monitoring learning wave, you are engaging in the learning and you are tracking your progress. And the self-reflection wave is when you evaluate how well did your processes help you to get your goal and what changes you need to make in the next time. By setting a learning goal, the process for the outcoming goal will be more effective. It allows you to make mistakes and explore how you can use those to help in learning. Seeing mistakes as an opportunity to learn help you to clarify a misunderstanding or to try a new learning strategy.
I have learned these life lessons through language, and I've carried them over into other fields and domains of life. For example, I have learned how to become more productive, how to develop good sleeping and eating habits. So it has brought about a change in my life overall. When I started learning Dutch after learning German, or learning Portuguese after learning Spanish, I was astounded at the rate at which I was acquiring these languages, which is natural because these languages were similar to the languages I already knew. In 2010, when I moved to Paris, I didn't know exactly what to do, but I knew that I had a big passion for languages, and eventually languages caught up with me and found me, and I started working with languages. So I told myself, bingo, I do what I love, and I love what I do.
Learning a foreign language, like having a toolbox. The more languages you communicate, the more tools you have to do whatever you want.
But now the question is, how can you get those tools? The answer is in the third aspect of self-concept. That is the way you implement them to be an independent language learner. Learning a foreign language is subject-specific, which means you learn language by engaging that language, such as listening, speaking, reading, and writing. In learning a foreign language, you should not be afraid. You should not mind making even 100 mistakes a day, because learning a foreign language is how you learn. Learning a foreign language is great fun. The most important thing is you have to make sure that you personally enjoy your learning method. How to turn language learning from a boring school subject into a pleasant activity which you don't mind doing every day. If you don't like writing words down on paper, you can always type them in an app. If you don't like listening to boring textbook material, find interesting content on YouTube or in podcasts for any language. If you are a more introverted person and you cannot imagine speaking to native speakers right away, you can apply the method of self-talk. You can talk to yourself in the comfort of your room, describing your plans for the weekend, how your day has been, or even take a random picture from your phone and describe the picture to your imaginary friend. In learning a foreign language, it is necessary for you to keep vocabularies long-term. You can use apps which are based on this system, such as Anki or Memrise. Or you can write lists of words in a notebook using the gold list method. If you are not sure which methods are effective and what is available out there, just check out language learners' YouTube channels and websites and get inspiration from them. If it works for them, it will most probably work for you too. When it comes to learning a language, perhaps the most crucial element is time. But we can create that time if we just plan a bit ahead. Waking up 15 minutes earlier than you normally do will be the perfect time to revise some vocabularies. Listening to a podcast on your way to work while driving will be great to get some listening experience. The important thing is to create a plan in the learning. For example, I will practice speaking every Tuesday and Thursday for 20 minutes. Or, I will listen to a YouTube video while having breakfast. Therefore, if you create a system in your learning, you don't need to find that extra time, because it will become a part of your everyday life. If you want to learn a foreign language, you need also a bit of patience. It is not possible to learn a language within 2 months, but it is definitely possible to make a visible improvement in 2 months if you learn in small chunks every day in a way that you enjoy. and there is nothing that motivates you more than your own success. Every language that you learn is like a key that unlocks a new pathway to human experience. Therefore, everyone has the opportunity. Build your perspective by setting a motivation of yourself. Discover your best method, because the effectiveness of self-regulation strategies you apply can assist you to become an independent and successful language learner. Every step you take affects your perception going forward, and only you are in control of everything.